All right. Oop. Do I make you big or have you small?
Yeah, no, go ahead. Show me off to everybody.
Hi, how are you, dear?
Hey, woman.
So you're out of space today, huh?
Well, that's how I feel. First off, I just want to say hi. It's been a while. Been working with a holistic doctor, as I told you, for everything that's been going on. And I've seen a lot of progress, like shitloads
Excellent.
of progress. So a lot of the inflammation is down, which is allowing for a lot of things to not be on
Good.
edge.
So the fuel intake is starting to balance now.
Yes.
Okay.
She's working on me hormonally as well. So, it's been 6 weeks now. Doing good.
Good.
The last 3 days, I've been a complete clusterfuck.
Really?
Just a lot of issues surfaced, a lot of shame based issues surfaced. And
Yes.
today was pretty intense, and I feel very discombobulated, literally, like if I'm off kilter. Kind of feel like my left side is pulling more than my right. I feel just really out of balance.
Okay. I am looking at several different things, but you have what's called beside yourself. So in a response, one of your defense mechanisms that you feel beside yourself. Do you understand what I'm saying? But how many
Yeah.
do I see of Kevin? I see 3 of you. There's like, so I'm going to look for a trigger response. And there's something that always happens. The word always has popped up. And when always pops up, you have a contraction. Like,
Okay.
For me, I have a shh, quiet. And it's like, and then I can feel the response within myself. My defenses and everything go up. You have something just like that. So whatever your trigger has something to do with work again. Well, it's good. It's not in your house. That's good. Okay.
It did start there. I didn't think about it. It did start there. Yeah.
And what happens is when that repetitive thing gets pushed, so it's like an installed button. This always happens. Somehow there's something is that you go into discouragement.
Okay.
Okay. So for whatever's going on, it's not even thinking about that. You go into your automatic response of feeling discouraged.
And then that kind of bleeds into everything else.
Yes. It's like the thread.
Yeah.
They said when that discouragement begins to happen, you go into very much, what is the right way? What is the wrong way? In order to, because what it bothers you is that your stability starts to change, not the safety and security, it's the stability. So then it's like, oh, I hear you go straight into a judgment thought. What's the right way? What's the wrong way? Now go a little bit further, and there's a part of you that just feels like you're deficient at making this stop.
Yes.
And when I'm looking at it, it's not even about whether it's right or wrong. It's I can't make something stop. Now, if I asked a little bit further, the main thing that makes you discouraged, the main thing that makes you go into what's right and wrong is the word disapproval. So all those other things they're all together. You just get tired of being disapproved of, which is a whole language that your body is addicted to.
Yes.
And you have to have a certain, and I'm going to ask, what emotions are you completely addicted to? And they said 2. And it has to do with about, can I expand myself as Kevin? So when you were about 3.5 years old, you couldn't really expand yourself as Kevin, and you have this depressed energy. Okay. When I asked, what are you addicted to? And they said, having to be corrected. You're correcting yourself because you've got to constantly correct yourself. There's always a problem. You got to constantly correct yourself. Can you see how this is right there? Can you feel it?
Yeah, it's like the work in progress and just kind of living, like embracing it too much.
Right there. Yes. Yeah. So there's always a problem. There's always something. Okay. And I feel like when you're growing up, there's always a problem. There's always something that you just like, no matter what you did. If I did this, it's always a problem. If I do the wrong way, it's always a problem. If I do it,
you know my story. So yeah, absolutely.
It keeps going on in that little segment. The second emotion that somehow are magnetically together is that self-pity. Okay. Now, and this is, I can't, And it has to do with expanding. I can't be me to some degree. Do you understand?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Now, if you're addicted to this, that means that your emotion, the RAS, the energy magnetic field, the reticular activating system, because thoughts are electrical, emotions are magnetic. When the emotions increase, you're going to start drawing situations to you. Then the thoughts are going to increase. And then your filter of when you're 3.5, that you have to look at people. I knew they were going to do that. Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. Yes. 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 I've become more aware of that child mentality. It's almost as if I can see him now.
Good, good. See, this is the manipulating behavior. I'm going to change yours before you change mine, or I'm going to change mine before you can change you before you can change it. I'm going to show you I can do this. Stop putting, there's a lot of chaos. The child is irrational thinking is holding itself prisoner because it could not understand, cope, handle, deal, and pacify with what happened. There was no tool for the 3-year-old that's crying. Okay, we have to learn to teach our kids how to simply even just do this one. So one of the things that your kind of mood in certain ways is that you're I just start vibrating. That's all I can tell you what that feels like.
Yeah, no, you're right.
But where does it affect? What organs does it affect? It affects the small intestine, and then it goes in and it affects the gallbladder, which then turns around and affects the bladder, which then turns around and affects the large intestine. So if I had the wheel in front of me, which I figure I need to make one, is that you have a story of how there's always this metal energy that can never be fed properly from, how do I want to put this? Let's see if I go. Okay, so when you have all this grief, you have that grief that goes nowhere. Okay, you got no one really to talk to about it except for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see how that is a little kid. So as you're trying to reach for some supporting factor, okay, you're not getting it. All you are getting is the emotions that are coming back instead of going in and flowing out. So you're right. Again. So what they want you to do.
What's happening in my sleep now? Again, like the whole like sleep apnea kind of thing is kicking back in again. I call it that because it's the closest thing that I can describe it to.
Right. Okay. And again, because your body's going to stay in that pattern. So we have to start breaking it. And that is, you're going to have to start doing L1D and making sure I don't know what to do. You were the little kid amongst all of that. I don't know what to do. I'm damned if I do, I'm damned if I don't. If I did, and I gotta keep looking, and I can't, and I gotta fight because, and so then your body is always in a process of correcting, fighting, and being in remorse. And with those two addictions, it is that you're conditioned that you have to stay this habit. Again, to break this habit, they're telling me that you need to make sure you begin to, I don't know what to do. And you literally drop into that.
Okay.
Okay, because you're trying to control it, you're trying to fix it, you're trying to correct it, the little child, when it was exposed to this, in such a sense, it was exposed to the fact that the mother didn't know what to do, the dad didn't know what to do, you didn't know what to do. And so you all were playing house. And then when they all went into their little modes of not knowing how to do it, and then all of a sudden you again then go, I don't know what to do. Your mind, I need you to drop into the body. When your body wants to go into that habit, why do you keep searching out? Because your body says we don't know what to do, but it's also addicted to it. Now you've been seeing results. You don't want to go sabotaging that.
No,
you finally are figuring out what fuel you need to put in the body properly so that it can then do the detoxing. So now we got to start getting that physical to match, because your physical can't get fixed until you take care of the mental, emotional, and the spiritual.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you're doing with me and with her. You're looking at the physical aspect with whether it's food or a detox or balancing it out.
A little bit of everything, actually, 1 week at a time.
Exactly, because it's not one thing. That's why I'm glad you found her. Okay. It took a while, but you finally got the alignment.
Yeah.
That's what we wanted.
You're right. She said it. She's like, wow, you got multiple things going on, Kevin.
Yes. And it's because each one of those is because you're beside yourself. Now, In order to do that, you have to allow yourself to hold L1D and really notice that you always live here. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. But you need to go back. You can heal L1D there, but you need to go back to when you're about 3.5, 4, and just notice that it was how you have to match everybody else, how I'm supposed to act, how I'm supposed to do this. And then the other time of the age is when you're 6. Again, it's that you had a bad experience, you stored it. And so that's where a mood will come in.
That you're okay, so you're verbalizing everything that I was observing today. Because I was finally able to observe what was happening. I just couldn't make the connection between what I was experiencing, what I was seeing, and how I just felt so discombobulated.
Excellent, excellent. You can now understand that this is same shit, different day, and it just picks it up. So what you thought the day before will show today, and what you thought the day before will show today. And if we can start to take these manipulating behaviors that are within ourselves and start to change them, catch them, like, and that's why it takes time. Okay. Mm-hmm. But start off with L1D. So I don't know what to do.
All right. Sounds good.
That's it.
Thank you for everything. All right.
You're welcome, honey. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Take care. Bye. Bye-bye.
I got to remember there. All right. So, so funny how my brain goes, I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. So next up is Amanda, and we're going to find out as soon as she gets connected. Well, how should we do?
Brenda, big, huge clue for Ellen. She's having a hell of a time getting in.
All right. That's what I wondered. All right, Spirit. You're welcome, Kevin. What I want you to do with her is that, is there any way that she can do direct contact, like type it out or something, or communicate in a different way? So we have to find the third option within this. Okay. Hi, Amanda. What's that?
I can send my Zoom link.
But yeah, because we want to make sure it's clear as possible if she can't come in the room. Hi, Amanda. Can you hear me? Okay, so we got to get your mic to work real quick. There you go.
Yes, I can hear you.
I make you big, or do you want to stay small?
You can make me big.
Okay, so what is going on, my dear?
Oh, so this happens a couple times a year, but around Thanksgiving seems to be a guaranteed time. But my throat feels so heavy and tight. My chest feels tight. Like if I leaned over, it feels like something is pulling it out. Last night, it was the worst it's ever been, like sending nerve shooting pains up into my face, around my back. I couldn't sleep.
Okay. Now notice, first of all, what you said was this happens every time Thanksgiving around that. So it's seasonal. And one of the things that's occurring is that this is your response. Your physical aspect is your response to an event you have to do that you don't want to do. Okay. It's tapping into your insecurity, but it's what's called towards the self. This is your resolution to have to put up with it. So I feel like, okay, so I'm just going to explain the story. So this little girl, she lives in 2 different states in the United States. Okay, so her family's here, but she lives over here. And so twice a year they go back. And her body has landed her almost every time now completely in the hospital with respiratory issues. Her body says, I don't want to go back to that. I don't want to do this. And what happens is that it is I am going to make myself completely sick. Is she making herself completely sick? No, it is, I can't make whatever this is happening stop. So it becomes that the body sets it up that you're fighting within yourself, this conflict within yourself. I have to do it. I've got to go do it and all this and that. And this little girl has no choice. She's with her parents. She has no choice. But her body's like, I don't like it. Now, is there anything wrong with this? It could be just the people's moods. It could be just the vibration. It could be the color. Color affects people. And something there, whatever it is. You said Thanksgiving's coming up.
Yeah.
I want you to pay attention to how your body is so much, and over time, it's going to get worse and worse because you keep making the same choice. And you say yes, even though your body is saying you really are saying no. Okay, it's a form of self-sabotage. It's like also when somebody wants to get off a day from work, but they don't want to skip it, so they lie, but they can't lie, so then they literally make themselves sick because, and they're like, well, this always happens to me. Well, it's the same thing with this. Towards yourself, you have to take action. You have to take action because you have these pictures. And when you were 7 years old, around Thanksgiving, that had to do with a lot of correcting. So when you were 7 years old, where were you living? Think about that. You know, who was in the household with you? Was there something that occurred, something bad? Go back to the year.
Around this specific time, or?
Yeah, about this time.
Okay.
So you go back to how many, years, go to the year. So there's a lot of impending doom, because now as we're going back together, I see a lot of impending doom, a lot of fear, and I see a lot of emotions, and there's a lot of unworthy energy. Everybody's throwing around unworthy energies, and there's a lot of irrational thinking and talking. I can feel this guilt and this overbearing energies. Wow. Oh, everybody's trying to correct everybody. A lot of worrying, a lot of self-loathing, a lot of depriving. Okay, now how many people am I reading? There's about 8 people. So it's a gathering. So, and you were young. You have, and I'm looking just to make sure it's not a psychic attack, psychic trauma where you picked up everybody's emotions. No, but it is a very strong memory. I feel like a fight broke out in some form. So when you think about this every year, besides this physical thing, has been Thanksgiving a good thing or a bad thing for you in life? What's the pressure?
Oh, I don't know. I just feel like I have to keep everything
there you go
together. So then I do everything that I can to make everybody be able to have a good time and relax.
Your body is saying, I can't do it anymore. So at 7 years old, you felt that same belief. Because you don't want something to happen. What don't you want to happen? What don't you want to see happen out here?
Well, I don't conflict, falling apart,
exactly.
Separation.
You don't want to endure something. So when you get done with this, you're going to hold L1S, and you don't want to endure your insecurities. Part of your insecurity is that you feel, there's a compulsion. I just don't want something bad to happen. I mean, it shows everything. It really is just like, here's the disgust. I have compulsion. So they get OCD. You just don't want something to happen. You're like, I don't want to endure that. I will put all my energy for this. But your body's wearing out saying, I can't keep living and doing this procedure of doing everything. So I want you to really map it out. I do everything so this won't happen. Okay. I have to make sure that, do you do all the food? Okay, I do all the food. Does anybody help?
I don't let anybody
I won't
help.
Okay, notice when part of you is saying I need help, but you refuse to take help because I can't let somebody help. Why can't you let them help? What will happen? They'll fuck it up. They'll disturb. Now, see, this is the energy, the manipulating behaviors within ourselves, that if something in our control aspect, if somebody comes in and changes one thing, it'll throw everything out of whack that you work so hard to keep in control. And the problem is you feel like you're going to die if they disturb this. Again, what is it you don't want to endure? What do you have to control? You have to control that you can't feel, and I'm asking, and they're saying that you can't feel something, and you've stuffed it down. You've diminished your character so that, oh my goodness. Okay, so what character? your aspect of joy and love at that little age, you're like, I can't be this because I got to make something stop. The thing that has to do with, because I'm petrified, they said, there's this attention seeking stuff that happens. I don't know how to feel. Okay. Like for instance, every time the outside wants attention, your kid's screaming, what happens to your mood? Ah, does that happen? Can you feel how your nerves are just like out of whack? Okay.
Yeah.
So the outside, again, the outside is the enemy. The outside stimulates you too much. And they want you to add L1D for that one because you are frightfully overjoyed. Whatever occurred at that young age, you don't want to remember. But you're frightfully overjoyed. And that is that just notice and focus on, the dog doesn't shut up. The kids aren't listening. This is happening. And one more noise is just going to make me crack. Now, here's the huge thing I got to get you to understand. If that control doesn't work the way you want, I have to make sure I get this, and this done. And if that gets disrupted, something bad's going to happen. Okay. This is where, the body's like, I can't do this. Okay. I get it. This is why you have to heal it one layer at a time. You couldn't make something stop. You don't want it to happen again. And when you start to get closer to that, L1D is going to be your friend. Okay. But you kind of just take some notes that I have to control everything so this won't happen. I don't want to endure this. If it doesn't get done, I'm going to something, and that's that impending doom. Impending doom alone can make you feel completely out of whack. And I need you to do L3D for that. Okay. Now, get to the rest of it. But even if you had the answer, you're missing and wasting all the stuff and opportunities. Now, your body, once you start to do this, I want you to notice that I have to do this. To help you take care of the pain. I have to control everything. I have to. I want you to make sure you do R2S. Okay.
R2S for that I have to.
Yeah, and all the pain, all of the throat stuff, because you're like, it's happening, it's coming. Even though your body is saying, oh, hell no, you already know that you're going to have to. Now, the only way you can't do it, and this is where the bitch slap comes in, is that your body's got to take you out.
Yeah.
Okay? You don't want that. It's already began the process, and it's getting closer.
Yeah, I was talking with Amy about it. I was like, oh, is this a bitch slap or is this a whisper? Oh gosh,
It can be a
it feels like it.
It's right now, it's a whisper.
Yeah.
What can you keep taking care of and finally break that dark night of the soul hell that you just created this bubble to live in. And the thing is it's like, I know when that day comes, I don't want to do it anymore. You have clearly said part of you is like, I don't want to do this anymore. But the other half of you is like, I can't listen. I have to be addicted to doing this.
Yes.
You can't just stop and say, I'm going to let somebody else do it. It's not because you have to be, you don't have it in you. It's just that you are afraid something's going to happen. Then any type of fear is going to be L3D. Okay.
Okay.
Any type of fear.
All right.
Especially when you feel that impending doom.
Ooh.
All right. You got this.
L3D on the any type of fear. Okay.
Yep. You've got this. Okay.
Thank you.
And I wanted to give you just straight stuff, but I don't want it to be temporary because I already know it's going to build up. But if you do these things, your body's going to start to come back to normal. Okay. And if other symptoms come up, I'm going to be doing my other show. Then maybe we can work on the next layer. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Thank
Love
you.
you. Thank you so much. We'll
Love it. Bye.
Bye-bye. April, can I make you big or keep you small? You choose. Awesome. And your volume, can you say hello so I can make sure I got you?
Hello.
Yeah, gotcha. Excellent. Well, that's healing up pretty good. Now,
still pissed off. That's one of my questions.
Right. Now, they're supposed to dissolve, and you don't know if they have.
Oh, there's one in here. I can see two, And then there's two in the bottom that I can still see, and I'm half tempted to ice it and pull them out because it hurts so bad. I don't want the doctor to touch them.
Okay, understand your fear of having them invade that space again is actually stopping that health, that growth, or the healing process. Okay, do you understand?
It
You've had a
hurts.
bad, yeah, it hurts. It hurt, yes, exactly. But the energy can't go there to dissolve them. You
Well,
understand? Your body.
I keep doing this, and I've touched them before, and they're sore, so barely touching them, just it's excruciating pain.
Yes, they do need to come out because I feel like they have healed, but they're not dissolving. You don't want the doctor to do it, but you're more scared that if you were to tug it, it's going to cause more pain.
Well, that's why I was going to ice them.
And I think that, yes, I can see this. Now, sometimes when you go in, it'll just be more of a tickle. But again, your body is so freaking scared of the horror that it had gone through. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Okay, so I'm just let me decide, or let them tell me why it's not dissolving. Just a little bit further. I have to. Okay, so you're not able to bring that source point of energy to come in. So it's stopping somewhere. Let me just look where. So they're showing me second chakra issues with the energy flow that affects in the face. So let me look at what do they mean. And they were telling me this has to do with your large intestine. Again, that last point is right here on the nose is large intestine. And they're saying that it's about rejection. They're looking at how you were rejected. So at some point you were rejected. You're smiling. Do you know what I mean?
Well, that was going to be my other question. It's funny that they came together like this, but I have had continuous relationships where they abandoned me, and I feel like they're not strong enough to stick with me, but I need to break that cycle. And it's funny
Yes.
because these are related, and I didn't know that. That was
Yes,
awesome.
they are very much related. Yes, because as I'm looking a little bit further, you're so used to your efforts being unreceived. Like when you're in relationships and you put all this effort into it, can you see how it's unreceived? Okay. They're saying when they go a little bit further now, in the relationship, do you get accused? Or do you?
I was with a narcissist for about 2 months. That one I did. Other ones, I just feel like they're not strong enough men for me, and I don't know what that word. I need to heal it because.
Right. Okay, so let's get into the next part. So we know that there's efforts unreceived, and there's a lot of accusing going on, but it created a lot of discouraged. Okay, they're saying the discouraged inside of you, like overtime hopelessness. Oh, I'm never going to be able to relationship, or I'm never, it's here we go again. The overtime hopelessness, but the discouragement causes you to actually look at how you had developed an arrested development at 6 years old, and you had turned towards yourself and said that the outside always tries to get its way, expands itself. Okay. Narcissists can do this, but you're letting go of this. So you made a conscious choice at 26. I'm not doing this anymore. Do you understand? There's something that you said, I'm not doing this anymore. Because you didn't feel safe. Okay. Here's the thing. You've been building and growing to build your safety. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. You've been carrying a wound since 6 years old. And it has become a habit And do you judge right from wrong? Do you say that's the wrong way to do it? That's the right way to do it. Do you understand? You define it black and white. That
Used to,
when you
yeah.
used to, but consciously you're not. Body, your conscious holds all those things that you used to if you don't heal them out. With that said, you don't ever want to feel worthless again. And then you're so determined on a conscious level, but your inside says that the outside tries to condition me. That ain't going to happen anymore. Okay. This whole story is that I'm strong. I'm strong. That's all there is, damn it. And that's why you know that you are strong. And these people are, why are you drawing in weak people? And they're saying they want you to notice that it has to do with all the stuff that's unresolved, but and it boils down to discouraged. You haven't resolved discouraged. Okay, so you can consciously live and be strong, but your body says this still needs to be addressed.
Okay.
And when it does, it goes back into how you handled, coped, and dealt with rejection. That first rejection at 6 years old, or that happened to you, has conditioned you to have this pattern that happens to you. Okay. I don't want to feel this again. At the same time, I don't want to feel rejected again. So I'll just endure the pain. No, I don't want to endure the pain. Oh my God, I have no choice. Can you feel the back and forth? Then the conflict is happening. This is the fighting of the self. When I asked Spirit, where do you want her to start breaking it down? And they said, well, you have to get yourself out of the triple warmer, which is the shock of when you experienced it. Like when you, and they said the greatest example, same for relationship, is when they put you under to fix your nose. And then when you came out of it and had to experience the healing aspect of it, and you're like, oh, hell no. It's like you went away, you were happy, you went to sleep, you got up, and you're like, what the fuck? You felt a truck had hit you. Okay. To some degree. And then when the healing process began, you had to endure pain because that needs to be cleansed. That needs to be balanced. You don't want to endure the cleansing process. You don't want to endure. Do you understand? And so you will draw men to you. You will draw men to you that has to do with a lot to do with being timid and shy. I don't want to go there again. I don't want to go there again. So you're repeating, I don't want to endure that rejection. I don't want to endure that to which was love unreceived. When you go to the doctor and they have to do that hard part. Ooh, I just had a flash. I just have to explain this. How the hell? Okay. The example that would be when I went to the hospital, I had to take my son to the hospital to get stitches on his forehead. And then another time was on his hand. And you give them to the doctor and the doctor says, you need to hold them down. And you're like, okay. And then that child looks at you. What are you doing to me? And then the authority has to take and do something. And all you know is like, you're causing me pain. Now, from a child's perspective, I don't want to endure anything that's going to make me feel like I'm getting better. It's like when, see, now they just did another flash. It's the same thing when I found out I was pregnant for the second time. My body said, oh, hell no, we are not giving birth. And I'm like, well, we kind of got to get the bowling ball out. We have no choice. My body was not in sync with my mind. In mind, I was already practicing meditation and Reiki and all of this. And as soon as my water broke, I was fine. And all of a sudden, as soon as the first pain happened, my body says, no, it's beginning. Ah. It had gone in extreme anxiety that my head, it messed with my head because the chemicals in my head were all of a sudden, oh my God, I'm going to die. And I started to go into a panic attack, all of these things. And then all the learning that I did just went out the window. Okay. Can you see where I'm going? It's the ultimate point of, no!
I thought I'd gotten used to.
You thought you got used to it?
Yeah, because I keep
Mind
saying
over matter.
They're not worth it. And usually next is better, but I've
now it's coming to be worse than the first. The worse than the first theory is that if you haven't taken care of your stuff, healed it, grew from it, you got to keep repeating it, and then it'll get louder, 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 and louder. This is where it goes from a whisper to a bitch slap. That's why you don't waste the moment. So again, even though in your physical body as well as in a relationship, your body is saying, no, it doesn't want you to consciously engage in something in your life, even though you're like, this is what? Your body is trying to scream at you. Okay.
Okay, what do I do?
The reason it chose the nose is because I can see you, but the nose is the very first thing we usually can connect with. Like when a baby's born, it smells and it roots to get to the milk. It knows where to go. Part of you does not want to smell these people anymore. And it's that part of that rejection. Do you understand? Your body, still holding on to stuff.
Okay.
Consciously, right.
How do I let it go?
So what you're going to need to do is you're going to have to hold L3D and you're going to think about it, weakness.
Okay.
And whatever will come up from that, you will know. Now, when you're doing this, breathe, because if your body starts talking to you in the fashion I think it's going to, just take it slow, because it says, I have a lot of panic here. I do not want to do this again. What are you talking about? You had a bad experience with a person, and I don't want to do that again. Why do we want to talk to that person again? It's not the same person as the signature. When you hold L3D, you're going to help. I want you to pay attention to your body. Breathe it through. Your body may act weird, but talk to it, listen to it. But as you're holding L3D, you're also kicking in that innate healing. You're letting the source back in. Okay. Now, when you start to get rid of that fear and the weakness and all of this, then is there anything wrong with you to just take and snip it and pull it out, or cut it or pull it onto it?
If I may have to ice it because it's so sensitive. I barely touch it. It feels like a scab, and you peel the scab off, and then you pull the hair in that scab. It's so sensitive like that. So I don't want him to touch it. I'm gonna ice it, and then
Okay. Now I can feel that you will have a sense of control if you try to do it yourself. Do it. You may find it's easier than you think.
Okay.
But notice how it's like, I don't want him to touch me.
He's a jerk. He told me, what, do you think you're different than anybody else? And I'm like, well, obviously I am. So he has no bedside empathy whatsoever.
Well, you called in another weird one. That's good. Because you're trying to show yourself that they don't know how to understand your pain. Again, love unreceived. They don't get you.
Well, I'm hoping I had some kind of influence in him, because the antibiotic he gave me, I'm I'm intolerant to the capsule that was made out of corn. And I told him when I went back, I said, what if I would have went to anaphylactic shock from this? I just want him to be, he goes, well, nobody's gone to anaphylactic shock from eating corn. And I said, well, I have an intolerance, but it could have been an allergic reaction. I just want you to be aware that people have these things. And
right.
I'm hoping that I sent him a box of chocolates and said, thank you for going a little bit slower with me, which he didn't, but I'm hoping the next person
You see, the thing is you, okay, that's a whole nother thing right there. We ran out of time because I have
Just
to
tell me
pick
what
up.
I need to do if I need to get a session
Just
with
make sure you do L3D. Now that other thing is is something completely different, because one of the things that you're doing simply is, I need him to understand. That's a whole other healing tool right there. I need him to understand. He's not getting me. Do L1D.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for honoring me and
you.
yourself. I love you too. Okay, we will talk to you later, and good luck. Thank you, Spirit, for helping her take the stitches out. Good. Do I make you small or can I make you big?
Whatever you want to do.
Oh, excellent. There, I can see much better. How can I help you, dear?
I'm not exactly sure. I was invited by my friend Linda Winland.
Oh, thank you very much.
And
okay. Never experienced me before.
No, I haven't.
Okay, so there's something that she must have thought this would be good for you to do, and now we're just going to tap into this, and Spirit has said that has to do with the way the self. We're going to look at the self. Do you feel like sometimes you just have impending doom energy? Like, ooh, it's coming. Can you feel that? Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Okay. Now, the reason I said self-impending, meaning it's self-induced.
Yes.
Okay, good. They're saying that you're losing a lot of power to this.
Okay.
Now, as I'm doing this, it's so funny because they're showing me, here is this woman. And then all of a sudden they show me the energy and they go, here's this beautiful, there's nothing. I don't really see a lot of energy at your hip area.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh, and then I don't even see your legs. I can see them dangling, but I don't feel like the energy is going through the body appropriately to help you walk forward in your life.
Okay.
Okay. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Now, now again, it may not be anything physical. It can be just energetically. Okay. But what they're saying is because of that self, whatever I said it was, it's habitual. You accuse yourself before anybody can accuse. Do you accuse yourself? You really do that? Okay. All right. So you beat everybody to the punch. I got to do it first. Okay. So why do you do that? Do you know why?
I've been working on unpacking all this stuff. I'm not exactly sure. I have ideas of childhood.
All right. Let me take over. Okay. Accusing. This is a strategy in order for you to survive. So I'm going to ask what age. They said 4 years old. You couldn't coke, handle, and deal and pacify whatever was going on. Oh, you know what happened at 4?
No, I had I'm going to say it wrong, a meeting with Tammy. She's on here. And when I visited myself, my emotional self, I was a 4-year-old hiding behind a 10-year-old.
All right. Now I'm also seeing that you have a spokesperson that's 7 years old. And I'm going to just talk to this one because this is the strongest one of the bunch.
Okay.
Oh, but it's created a whole bunch of physical shit. All right, just talk to me. I have pain. Okay, so remember, this is your 7-year-old thing. I have pain. I have pain, and it's because I don't know how to react. I don't know how to react. I don't know how to really insert myself. I don't know how to react. Now, my whole body right now is that I'm having a hormonal issue. That's interesting. So your hormones are, I don't know how to react. So keep going. Your 7-year-old wants you to know that you don't know how to take criticism. It hurts. Okay, so if somebody criticizes, even if somebody says, hey, you could do that better. Ooh, do you know what I mean? There's trigger words.
Yes.
You're like, your 9-year-old says, don't touch it. Okay, because it'll just set you off going backwards. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Okay, what is happening is that your 4-year-old is holding grudges.
Wow.
Okay, and I'm looking at the 4-year-old and I'm asking, what is it? They're saying that the energy in the environment was very dishonoring. Now, all of a sudden, I feel like there was violence or physical anger, something to do with it all over the place. And I'm being little, that I feel like somebody's going to hit me in the legs and I'm going to fall. I feel it's not at me, but it's here, it's thick, it's in this space. You didn't know how to cope with that in that environment. And as I'm looking, she's like, she keeps showing me that she fell over. She fell over. She can't stop being, and then she stops. And that means usually there's an arrested development. She goes, I can't grow beyond this. I can't grow beyond it. And she keeps repeating that one particular action over and over. Now she's saying it's their fault. And she can't help but go, okay. But at the same time, she can't open up her mouth and say that. So then this is where the older ones come in and have eventually turned it around onto, I got to accuse myself. I have to do this to myself, because you can't figure out, the 4-year-old can't figure out how to make whatever it was to stop. I don't have the voice. I don't have what it takes. What I'm looking is that it goes, see, it's funny because I'll see the 4, I'll see the 10, but I see the 7. The 7 stands out, the 8's there, the 9 stands back. And then I see your 16-year-old self. I did it my way. Now, I don't know if you had grabbed some balls and you went, I am now an adult. You know what I mean? Do you know what I'm saying?
When I was 16, I let my my adopted father know that it would be the last time that he beat me severely, that he would never put his hands on me again.
Okay, thank you. Now, all those ages in between are very confused. Very confused. This is what love is. No, this isn't what love is. And you're weaving in and out. You're doing this. Okay. Oh, this is why you don't have the legs. Okay. Now I've got shivers that are, okay. I got to pay attention to the shivers. Oh, fudge. Don't worry. It's not hurting me. Okay. So there's too many lofty energies that keep coming at you. And you thought if you don't look, then it won't hurt. Okay. But you didn't have a tool to make it stop. Do you understand? You didn't have the tool, and your voice is not there. You have been programmed to, it's your fault. Okay.
Yes. And
this is where the accusing starts to turn within yourself. And you're like, you believe it to be true. But your 16-year-old self says, no. But the programs are still in place, brainwashed you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that when you go and try to interact with other people, my whole body wants to go into a certain stance. Like you are like going, I'm all for that. And your body's like, oh, what's she doing? Okay, you're not communicating. This is why I've got this is why they show me your legs dangling like you're a puppet to the stuff. And if I go further, Spirit has told me that you have a certain amount of obsession, and it is to keep your mind busy so you can expand. Now, at first I thought it was thought, but it's not. What do you physically keep doing so that you can keep yourself busy?
I sew, I write.
Okay, so you're constantly doing something.
Yes.
And if I ask Spirit, okay, we're not asking you to take care of the safety blanket. We're asking, let us help by looking a little bit, what can she heal? And they're saying they just want you to understand what addicted to emotions are.
Okay.
Okay, so it's like when somebody is on drugs and they don't want it anymore, but their body will go, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And then you're like, the body will nudge you to go get that particular thing that will calm you down.
Okay.
Now, with drugs, you don't want them in your system because that messes who you are. But sewing helps calm you down. Writing helps calm you down. And I'm looking at how I'm asking your, okay, so your 4-year-old says, yes, I do would like this to be gone. But she has this great amount of insecure. So just before you're about ready to pick up writing, pick up sewing, pick up the obsessive, the tool, which is not a bad thing. I'm not saying it's bad.
Okay.
What I see, it causes entanglement. I've got this thing caught to my ring. I'm not even sure how that even happened. I'll just grab another one. That's fine. And now I've got this, everything entangles, huh? In your life, everything kind of blends with everything else. Okay. I want you to, as soon as you're about ready to pick up, say, no, just a second. I'm going to set this down. And then you're going to grab your right wrist and you're going to find the thumb. Right at the crick is 1, 2, 3. And when you find the third position, that's where your thumb's going to go. Finger here, wrap it around. Now your thumb is going to be nice and soft. And you're going to end up placing it so it touches here and it touches your hairline and touches your forehead. And you're going to think, okay, your body, you know, if you don't go and get that pencil or pen and that sewing stuff, I want you to breathe. Just breathe as you're holding, because there's a part of you that says, I have to have this because, and I want your body and you to just sit there. Now you're like, but I don't get it. I really am just going to pick that up. Okay, the more you resist picking that up, the more you're going to feel, I gotta. It's the I gotta. Why? Because you're like, I don't want to feel insecure. Okay. Now, it's not going to take away your ability to write and to sew, but it is going to help calm the inside so that you can enjoy those a little bit more. Okay. Because your body, it wants you to dress it. So the first thing you got to do, that's very important to understand, is that this is the triple warmer. You're going to help calm it down. Your whole body does this whole thing, and then it goes through everything I just talked about. So what happens is when you're thinking, soon you'll be able to measure something. And it would be, I can't stop it, or I can't handle this. I can't believe this happened. You'll get words. Right now, there's not a lot of words. But if you were to take some of those things that, oh, I have to accuse myself, I have to do all these things to myself, then I will tell you that you can then begin to notice that it's insecure and unworthy. And if you were to address, I feel insecure, put it on 10, oh God, go to do this, and you get it down to 0. You're going to start doing, you're going to start healing yourself in layers. And the same for feeling unworthy. Okay. And your 4-year-old's going. So your 4-year-old's totally ready. So that's a great sign.
Okay.
It wants to go play with its doll. It just doesn't know how to run across the room and get it. So you're going to help her heal a lot more.
Okay.
Thank you so much for coming on and honoring yourself and to me. And thank you, Tammy. I appreciate that. And we will talk to you later. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye, dear.
Bye.
And Tammy, thank you very much. Hi, Ellen.
What? Hi.
Hi, dear. So now what we're going to do is that you had sent me some pictures, and I want to know what are we allowed to talk about. I want you first to put it in your words. What's happening?
Oh my God. Spirit is doing this with my phone.
Yes.
This is,
exactly.
So yeah, they mess with my electronics. It's not on the wall like I showed you today. It's not. It's almost gone.
Okay.
So
what can I share? So you had left the house, you came home, and something weird happened to your wall. So you have these like fingers.
Nobody was in the house.
Okay, no one was in the house.
Nobody was in the house. We went to church.
Okay.
And we came home, and I started cooking. And I came into the room for something, and I just saw the walls were all splattered. I thought it was like water. And then I touched it. It wasn't water. It was like pasty, like I don't even know what it was. I still don't even know what it was. But now it's gone. It's almost gone.
Okay. Now we like to have
and I felt something in the room.
Okay.
That's it.
Say that again.
So I'm very sensitive.
Yes.
So I could feel
okay.
something.
Now, this is not the first time that you felt something in your space.
No, absolutely not. Remember I told you about the lady and my bathroom, and especially this room. This room.
Okay. Now,
it's always odd activity.
So with your permission, I'm going to have, Spirit give me information that it sees in your house. And so,
yeah, I want why. Yeah.
So, well, that is important. Your question is important. It's like, what's going on? Why is this happening to me? All right. So what I ask Spirit is because most people go into fear and say, oh, well, God, this is strange. This is weird. I'm going to reject it. This is something bad happening. You've seen enough of me that there's part of you going, oh, well, there could be good spirits too. This could be happening. What is this? Well, we have to remember we lead with fear, then you're going to define it as fearful. If you lead it with your spirit, you will define it as usually, I will figure it out. Something's happening. So as Spirit had, allowed me earlier, the feedback was, and this is how do I take the language I use to turn it into something you can understand. So something happened to you at age 2 at night, you had a dream. So at 2 years old, you had a dream. Now, on a soul level, you're working out the issues of the day, whether it is from your parents, from whatever's in the environment, or whatever's in your soul contract, or what emotion you couldn't let go of from a past life. But fear is very present as one of the energies that was in your field. When you came back from the dream and are awake, just like with any age you are, if it's scary, oh my God, what was that? And you start interpreting it with fear, it becomes false news because your ego is trying to tell you it's this, and you're trying to get safety, security, and stability back to happening. So we don't really know how to define it, except for something must be bad and something strange. And if you've had a lot of bad movies, I don't know, do you like bad movies? Scary movies?
I did when I was young.
Okay.
But since I've gotten spiritual, no.
Okay. So you have to heal those. Because I didn't like scary movies. I refuse to watch them. I don't need, because I have, in the right part of my eye is this imaginary aspect of myself. And in the left is my part of me that has past experiences. And if I have uncontrolled answers, and that energetically means uncontrolled, and I don't have enough information to create the answers out of ego, but from spirit, if I don't have that, then when I keep recurring it, and I take that, oh my God, then I watch all these scary movies. My imagination can create things that are not real. You are also going into the 5th dimension, which means you're going to see things other people aren't going to see. But how come everybody else sees it now? And that's because, remember, it's your world. They have their world, but it's your world. And when you are doing string theory, which means you have all of these different parts of yourself, and while you're developing and growing, they're saying that you have got to learn what emotions out of all of this information, because you have to begin to line up to the dimension you want, which is the 5th dimension, but you want to line up the reality to which is you. Now, what happens is because of this thing that happened, it was a nightmare. So it was a night dream, and you thought it was real. You are going to have an imprint in because your brain only sees a mirror, so it doesn't know whether it's real or not. Only we can help consciously determine that. But your child self said, no, it's something more than this. Okay, because of that, you got limited knowledge back then at being 2 years old, and then you have it. So what occurs is that you have gray matter inside of your aura, which means you were so afraid by something that you didn't want to develop this part of yourself. So when I ask this gray matter, if this gray matter has anything to do with anything evil, no. But you have a negative attachment, a negative cord. We create cords to everything. The entanglement cord, the note is a very lower frequency chord, which causes you to have to explore something that's less than love. Okay, meaning physically, you have to start bringing it into your reality. Okay, You also are carrying the water element, from what I can feel. Because you're carrying the water element, that means you have to start addressing fear. So when fear elements, if you don't start to process that emotion you chose to come in with, then if I entered your space, I could really see a lot of your fearful things happen. So when you magnetically energy, if I stood in that magnetic field, I will see what you see. But without me being in your field, I'm not going to see what you see. So when I ask Spirit to, what does she need to start to address? Because it messes with your electrical and magnetic field to the point it totally causes you to mess up with electronics, not able to connect. It's that gray energy, which is just a part of your aura that you had dulled down and says, I don't want to participate with. Because if I can, I'm going to clean out that gray matter. No, you really need to turn the light switch on. You got to, and so what do we need to do? So your 2-year-old self is saying that it's in it lost its power. It never developed that particular part of herself. So your 2-year-old is, I don't want to do that because it's very painful. So your 2-year-old believed the nightmare and it causes you to really have problems creating. Okay, so you have creative insecurity. So it's not that I can't do a piece of art. Creative insecurity in this state is that I cannot really connect because I'm insecure about it. If I want something to happen, I have to create this situation. And again, I see you have negative cords. You have one big fat negative cord to the outside that says that I have to contract my energy, and I'm conditioned into doing this. So I have all these self-imposed limitations. I can't do this. I can't do that. So this is where your excuses and reasonings are just going to jump at you. And literally you will cause your phone not to connect. You will cause an app not to work. You can blame the outside, but in this case, it is on an inside job because your aura, your energy cannot create particular things. When I'm looking at this, they said they need you to notice that in the dreams. Now, have you remembered any of your dreams lately? No. And the thing is that, okay, now I'm going to ask Spirit, can you see, okay, the people around you, do people pout around you? Yes or no? I can't see you nor or hear you, but so it pouting.
My son is very happy. My son is a very happy little boy.
Okay, but do you have adults around you that pout?
Yes.
Okay, understand. It's your little self is fine because that's what he represents, but people pout. Now they're showing me real quick that the dream was about pouting and that you're petrified. And I asked if it was you, and they said no. Part of that dream had to do with the fact that the energy of people screaming or their mannerisms, their behaviors has such a loud broadcast that your body says, I disapprove and I don't want to connect. So when you're around people that pout and do all this stuff, you don't want to connect with them. Maybe you're forcing yourself to. But can you feel how, okay, she said yes. So do you understand that there's a part of you that panics, which creates your electrical field to disrupt and cause things? The things on the wall was a manifestation of stuff that you can't explain. That is your story. That is part of what's happening to you. There's stuff that's happening and I can't explain it. Is now become this part of your heart's magnetic, like a mannerism. Okay. So I want you to just start to look at it and say, okay, this is stuff I can't explain. And then I want you to hold L1D, left wrist, grab that first position, put your thumb in deep. Okay. And that's your phrase. If every time you can't explain something, oh, here it is. It's an opportunity to heal this. Oh, I can't. All right. I can't explain. Here is that. Do you understand what I want you to focus on? I didn't hear you because of the voice.
I see a lot of things in the wall. I see a lot of energy all the time, like this blue.
Okay, you keep cutting out. But the thing is that I want you to pay attention to is, okay, we'll just close for there and just keep listening. And what I want you to understand is that you have to see it and understand this is the pictures in your eye. You're going to have to go to medicinewomansolution.weebly.com and look for sensory accessing and begin to notice when you're holding L1D, notice how you physically can see it. Okay. And I want you to begin to do the eye switching so that you will take the emotion off of what you're seeing, because your 2-year-old is still doing a particular thing in its field. When you start to develop this, your aura will start to repair itself, because you can have people come in and clear it out all you want, but it's not going to change anything. You still have the pattern in your brain that said this is the way it is. You have to change it. It's an inside job about you, how you look at things, how you feel things, any of that, and it will change this. Okay. All right. I'm going to let you go because it keeps cutting out, and I'm going to go on to the next person. And thank you so much. Now heal, heal, heal. Okay. You can do this. So thank you all for sharing, caring, and loving. Resolve to evolve.
Heal and steady deal.
You can heal that.
Feel it to heal it.
When in doubt.
Heal it out.
And when I'm doubting.
Make sure you heal that shit out and grab a tool.
This simple little tool here, OMG. And please, always do your best to stay blessed.
Stay blessed.